What's up, Internet? We are here with Sonic 3D Blast for a couple reasons. First of all, I wanted to test my satiator out a little bit more because it's been a little bit funny. Again, new technology interacting with old technology. It's a bit weird like that. Reason number two is this is actually a game I'm very nostalgic for. This is one of 3 Sonic games I owned as a child. I had the original Sonic the Hedgehog, I had Sonic and Knuckles, and I had the Sega Saturn version of Sonic 3D Blast. And, you know, I really like this game, thinking back on it. I'm kind of sad when my mom gave away my Saturn to a Goodwill, or it wasn't even Goodwill, it was a pawn shop. She just gave that away, plus all my games, plus my SMS and all that. Still bitter about that. You know, this was a game I was very nostalgic for. With the rise of YouTube and like the internet and people talking more and more about games, I found a lot of people tend to look at this game really negatively. And I remember thinking, you know, I quite like this game. It's not quite, you know, your standard Sonic game, but I thought it was really good. So I'm thinking part of the reason why people dislike this game so much is they played the crappy Genesis version. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's more or less the same game on the Saturn, but the soundtrack is infinitely better. And, well, some of the bonus stuff is cool, so, you know, I think this game is good, and we're going to play some more of this. I'm not sure how far we'll get in. I'd like to be able to beat it, but again, if the satiator freaks out, I guess that's not happening, and if we game over, that'll happen too. So, let's just see how far we get into Sonic 3D Blast, as I kind of relive a bit of my childhood. Because this was one of the very few Saturn games I actually owned. I owned the bootleg sampler demo disc. I owned a collection of 3 arcade games, Virtua Cop, Daytona USA, what was the third one? Virtua Fighter 2, how could I forget that? As well as Astal, which is an awesome game I've done a full Let's Play of. And, you know, I played a lot of this game. I don't think I ever actually beat this version of it. It wasn't until the Sonic Mega Collection came out and I played that, and you know, it might be a little embarrassing to admit this, but you know, I didn't realize at the time that there were different versions of Sonic 3D Blast. This was the only version I was familiar with, and you know, that was the first thing in Sonic Mega Collection I played was Sonic 3D Blast, and I was so disappointed at how different the game was. Now, if I recall, all these animated flowers and stuff, the little thing climbing the tree there, even this little mole guy digging into the wall, all that stuff's missing in the Genesis version. Definitively, truly, this is the best version of this game. Now, it's not your standard Sonic game. It's an awkward isometric platformer, and when you have to do precision platforming, which we'll see in World 2, awkward is the operative term there. Now, you might notice we're jumping on these springs using the Flickies, because this is effectively more a sequel to Flicky than Sonic. To give us sort of like an extended tail that it gives us more reach. That's important for collecting things on those springs. You might have noticed little Sonic heads on those springs every time we jump up there. Those are medals. You need to collect 10 of those for a continue. And that's really all you need to know about this game. Well, that and it's basically Flicky. And the Saturn version is just in every way better than the Genesis version. And it's sad that the Genesis version is the one that gets ported everywhere. Alright, now, this is actually going to take us exactly where we were before, and I didn't show this off, but if we went here without that cannon, Knuckles would not be here. But because we have 50 rings, we can give him Knuckles and go to a bonus stage that is stylized after Sonic 2. Plus, Knuckles will personally fly us in there, like a badass. Also, this is one of the few instances of Sonic in 3D, along with Sonic Jam and Christmas Nights into Dreams. Now, I've actually been playing a little bit of the Genesis version on this terrible Chinese handheld I have that has like the worst sound ever. And it's the Game Gear one, it's the Genesis version. The Genesis version is just ridiculously easy in its minigames. If I recall, this version's a little bit harder. And by a little bit harder, I believe it actually is basically Sonic 2 hard in terms of special stages. So even if we do beat this game, we might not get all the Chaos Emeralds. On the bright side, the Chaos Emeralds are not that important in Sonic 3D Blast. You can't turn to Super Sonic or anything. It does limit you to going to the final boss, though, so we might not get to see the whole game. But we'll see what we can do. But I remember these mini-games being really, really cool. I think the music and these mini-games were especially, like, the reason why I disliked the Genesis version so much. Because, again, I played this when I was a kid, and I was thinking, you know, I remember really liking those three things, which, I mean, nowadays look incredibly dated, but I still think they're pretty cool. But yeah, this is basically Flicky 2, except it's a 3D isometric platformer. You know, the funny thing is, I really dislike Flicky. I actually quite like Sonic 3D Blast, even though it's effectively Flicky in 3D. But, you know, if we could beat this game tonight, I'd be pretty excited, because, like I said, I don't think I've ever actually finished this version. I've beaten the Genesis version a ton, but when I was a kid, I think I only ever managed to beat Stage 2 2 or 3 times, and I don't think I ever managed to beat Stage 3. And this is like a 7-stage game if you include the bonus stage, so... Or the bonus stage, like the extra stage for collecting all the Chaos Emeralds. So, you know, I kind of got about halfway through the game. As a kid, anyway. But yeah. That's this. I'm really hoping this isn't a freeze screen or a hang. That's the problem I've had with the Satiator, is it has, like, this weird tendency to hang on stuff. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what happened here. Alas, this is old technology interacting with new stuff. We might have to play something else instead, which I'm okay with. We could play Sonic Jam, I guess. Fun story. But I had played through Bulk Slash, and Bulk Slash is this great game, but it's not super long. You have to basically, yeah, it's hung, unfortunately. So we're gonna power this off, power it on, and do something else, I guess. Oh, we could try Sonic 3D Blast one more time, I guess. But, yeah, I played Bulk Slash, and you get a bunch of bonus stuff in Bulk Slash, but you have to beat the game to get there, and the thing is it requires you to beat the game to save to unlock, and I beat the game, I got to the final cutscene, and it hung right there, like, just loading it didn't work properly, so... That kind of sucked. I had spent an hour playing a game I really liked, but I didn't get any unlockables for it. So, that kind of sucks. We'll try this one more time. If this fails, I don't know, we'll see if we can play a little bit of, like, I don't know, Sonic Jam or something. And if not, we'll just call this a wash. I'm sad, though. I want to play through this. And if I don't get to do that, I'm going to be so sad. Because I like Sonic 3D Blast. And I've been stuck playing the crappy Genesis version for far too long. Part of me thinks, you know, just don't go to the special stages, but I feel like even if that worked, it would be like level transitions, that would be a problem. But I guess we'll see. But, you know, that's part of this whole thing, is I'm doing this to test to see if the satiator's in there right and stuff, because it's just a little finicky. Or it could be like the slot it's inserting into is just a little bit wonky or something. It's a little unfortunate, too, because, I mean, the alternative is I have to buy a whole new Saturn, and I don't want to do that, because they aren't cheap. Alas. Well, that or I have to buy a new Satiator, and those are also not cheap. They might be slightly more expensive than a Saturn, but not by a lot nowadays. Alright. I would like to, at the very least, get to the second proper stage, though, because, you know, that will be definitive proof as to why this is the definitive version of this game and why it's so much better than the Genesis version. Just trust me, the soundtrack is so killer in the second stage in this game. But we'll see this again. I can show off this, I guess. So yeah, this is where we launched. Knuckles isn't here. We're gonna go take that cannon. He'll be there. We'll take the special stage, and hopefully the game will not freak out, and we'll be able to continue. And if it does, I guess I have to fiddle around with my satiator again. Which I don't really want to do tonight, because it's after midnight already. I just wanted to do this to unwind, not to have a whole project. But hooray! We got back into it. The question is, will we load into the level again once this is done? The nice thing is, though, when you transition to these bonus stages, All those little medals we collected that are part of a continue, you need 10 of them. They respawn. So, the smart thing to have done would be to go to the second bonus stage in this, because this stage in particular has 2 sets of bonus stages you can use. And collect all the things in both, and then go to both of these bonus stages, and in between collect all the medals again. Because you'd probably get about maybe like 12 medals right there. You know, I've heard the PC version has like completely different bonus stages as well, and they made them like ridiculously fast, so like you couldn't react to anything. So to compensate, they just overloaded them with rings, so you can't actually fail any of them. I think, well, I do appreciate having some of the challenge removed from like the Sonic 2 grade bonus stages, because those were stupid hard. You know, I think you still have to have a failure state and like a risk of failing, or else you take away any and all sort of interest in what you're doing in challenge. But we're gonna see if this loads properly, and we'll go back to the stage. Because if it doesn't, I'm gonna be sad, and I'm gonna have to work with my equipment again. I don't want to do that, is the short version of this story. But we'll see. I think it might have hung. I guess we'll find out. I don't want to touch any buttons, just in fear that something happens because of my input. So hands are off the controller. Hopefully this time we'll load back into the world, but it doesn't look like it's happening. That's no good. That's no good at all. Crap. Oh, well, that's sad. Alright, new plan. We're gonna see if we can load Sonic Jam and play around in Sonic World for a little bit. Because why not? And then when that fails out, I'm just gonna curl up into a ball and cry. This is not how I wanted to spend my Sunday evening. I was excited to play this. I still am. I want it to work. Oh, I'm sad that it's not. Okay, so let's see. Also, they got the Sonic Extreme demo. I played a little bit of it. It was barely functional, but I mean, that was kind of the point. So go to Sonic Jam. Hopefully this will work properly. Hopefully. Hopefully. I don't want to just curl up into a sad ball for the rest of my life because my satiator doesn't work. Oh, please restart. I don't need to. That's fine. I don't want to save Sonic Jam. This is Sonic Jam. This is the best Sonic game, I think, ever. We're gonna go to Sonic World. Basically, this is a compilation of Sonic 1, 2, 3, Knuckles, and a bunch of other crazy stuff combined. Except it's all recreated brand new for this. Plus it has this mode. This mode is basically just a fancy menu to let you look at extras like, you know, a sound test, a gallery of like production of stills and stuff. Nothing like super weird that you couldn't find on the internet nowadays. But I'm not gonna lie, I ran around this mode a lot when I was a kid when I rented this. And, like, I swear there would be, like, a secret second world, because it's a one-stage thing, but I wonder if I can find it. But there was, like, a spot that I swear there was, like, a second world. But you just had to find, like, a way to unlock it. Like, it was a big secret thing. It was around one of these walls. Let's see. Because around the walls somewhere, there was, like, this icy patch. Like, it was, like, the top of a mountain or something. And I remember thinking, there's like a second world up there somehow, some way, somewhere. And thinking, I just have to find the right spring to get me up there. But it doesn't exist. Unfortunately, it's a one-world demo that's basically just a fancy menu to see all the fun little bonus stuff. There's some codes for Sonic the Hedgehog. But I quite like Sonic Jam. I kind of wish I had this game when I was a kid, honestly. Unfortunately, I only had Sonic 3D Blast, but I liked Sonic 3D Blast. I wish I could play it right now, but apparently I can't. Not that I'm bitter or anything. Nor can I find a little secret area because there's no camera control. Code 1! Because these are written from the ground up as opposed to proper, like, ports or emulation, they had to put their own codes in. Let's see, can we find the big icy thing in the walls? Oh, maybe we can't. Maybe it was that really low chunk of wall or something that I figured was like a secret level that you could hop the wall or something. But there's also this, which is like a challenge mode. So, we need to collect 20 rings in 1 minute. Let's do it. I've actually already done this once for my channel. I don't know what the hell is on this sort of back in the day. Where I just, you know, did all the challenges in this. But they're not hard or anything. There. Now we just have to get back to the trampoline to time out. This would sort of be really great for speedrunning, I think. If you were interested in, like, just a really obscure speedrun, just do Sonic Jam challenges. There we go. Next challenge. Get 20 rings, or get 3 red points. Now, the red points, I think, are the little checkpoint things. So there's 1. I think they're just on the path here. 2. But you know, this was really it if you want to play Sonic in 3D. This or, you know, what was it? Christmas Nights. Christmas Nights had Sonic in 3D as an unlockable. And that was kind of it. If you want to play Sonic in 3D, you didn't have a lot of options, really. It's kind of sad. Because, I mean, the Sonic Extreme, for what it was in trying to be, it wasn't the most amazing thing ever, but at least given the Saturn something exclusive as well. And, I mean, Sonic Jam is, you know, it's pretty exclusive because it's effectively something new, but at the same time, it's trying to basically remind you of, you know, stuff that's old, so to speak. Although I don't like using the term old to describe stuff like this. You know, vintage, classic, that sort of thing. You know, I think the term old is disrespectful. And Tails is flying around somewhere around here. When I was a kid and I'd run around here, I'd like make up my own game, like Metal Sonic's running around or something. You gotta like escape his clutches or something. You know, sometimes it's fun just to make your own games out of stuff. Alright, touch Miles. Now there's a trick to this. Gotta figure out where he is. Unfortunately, I don't know where he is. Oh, there he is. So the real trick to this is to basically stand on the thing, wait for him to show up, and then you're good. Alright, 5 blue points. I don't know what that means. I think 5 blue points are just the red checkpoints again. Maybe? I guess we'll find out. I mean, they're red, though. But they should be blue until you touch them. Oh, there they are, okay. I don't think those were there before. Huh. Okay. I can touch all those. I'm gonna have to figure out what was wrong with Sonic 3D Blast. I'm sad, because I still would like to properly play through that. Maybe next weekend, maybe if I can find some time to work with this thing or something. I don't know, we'll see. But I would really like to play through Sonic 3D Blast properly and not the crappy Genesis version. Because the soundtrack to that alone is reason to play the Genesis, or play this version. Or this version, well, yeah, the Saturn version as opposed to the Genesis version. But I just don't think Sonic 3D Blast deserves all the crap it gets. Like, yeah, it's not quite the Sonic experience I think anyone was really expecting. Certainly not to replace the void of 3D Sonic games. But I still think it was a great game in its own right. Although some of the platforming was kind of awkward because, of course, it was an isometric thing. I don't know where the other 2 blue points are. Where are the blue points? Ah, there's one. I think we went over time. Also, I see another little secret thingamabob. I didn't complete anything. Okay, so it's a minute and a half to touch 5 blue points. Go. Alright. I got this. I mean, probably I don't, but we'll say I've got this. 1. I see 2 and 3. 2. I know where a 4th is. 3. So all we gotta do is find the last one. 4. I think the 4th one is actually up on that platform. I think. I'm not 100% sure on this, honestly. Fortunately, we have a whole minute. There we go. Although that said, we have to get back to the trampoline. There it is. 7 secret cards. Now, I think these are the bonus cheat things. Alright. 1. 2. I actually want to read these. Now, there's one behind one of these buildings. 3. Is there one behind this one? No. Well, that's a problem. Alright, we got 3, but there's 7. I just saw one, but I can't get up there immediately. Is there anything around here? Ah! 4! 3 more to go! We got this. Spring! That didn't help me any. I don't know how much time I actually have to do this. 5. There's 2 more. I know where one of them is, anyway. Is there one behind here? There is not. Alas. Okay, it was around here, I swear. Ah, that's tricky. Pretty sneaky game, but not sneaky enough. Whoa, okay. I don't know what the time frame for this quest is. Oh, there's what I need. How do I get up there? Am I supposed to jump on the trees? Oh. Okay. Did not expect that. That's fine. That's okay. Not sure what those floating moving platforms were actually there for then. Also, I don't know how much time we actually have. I think we have run out. I think it was 2 minutes. Alas. Where is the final one? Tails! Fly me around. Give me a helicopter view of where all the secret stuff is, so that we can do this better next time. What's the point of that platform? Alright. So there's one under that bridge. There's 2 over there. There's 3 behind that building. There's 4 on a floating platform over there. There's 5 over there, I believe, and 6 behind that building. But where is the final one? Where does this go? What's with all these platforms? Where do they go? What secrets do you hold, floaty platforms? Oh, who knows? I should probably check and see how much time we're actually allowed to take for this. I'm betting it's 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes even. Okay, well, let's grab the first, what is it, 6, and we'll figure out where the last one is. 1. Wow, that underwater is slow. Okay. 2. Is there one in this little alcove? No. Alright. But there is one behind here. 3. There's not one behind here in the sound test building. Well, there is one up here. 4. Alright. Alright, we're good. We're good. We got this. No problem. No idea where the last ones are, but We'll make it work. I feel like the shadow of that platform is telling me there's one there, but I don't think there is. 5. I don't want to actually read it right now. Maybe later. 6. I don't know where the last one is. That platform. I don't know where that platform is, but I have a feeling it's messing with me. Sonic, why do you not jump high enough? That was Knuckles' problem, not yours. And that was literally the one reason you were better than Knuckles. If you can even call that a reason to say you're better than Knuckles, because Knuckles was better than you in everything. Boom! 3 balloons! Those balloons are new, I believe. Yep, there's one. It's kind of cool that it's adding stuff. Also, I should have been able to hit that, and did not. Am I supposed to hop up onto this pillar? We shall problem solve this. Possibly. How do I hit that? Maybe Tails needs to take me on a tour of this place. Like, okay. I need to hop onto this tree to get this one. Okay, that one I got. The other one's over there, though. Doesn't seem to be any tree nearby. I can only think that you gotta use Tails or something for that one. Let's test that theory. Tails, help me out here, buddy. I want your help to break this balloon. Thank you. Problem solving. I'm guessing the other balloon is probably gonna require you to like get onto those moving platforms, because so far I have yet to see a value to them otherwise. Where is balloon? Pretty small child from Spider-Man 2. I lost my balloon! And now I really want to play Spider-Man 2. Okay. Yeah, it's up here. Alright. Well, we know where the balloons are. We can do this. Just requires us to know exactly where Tails is at all times, which is our job as his babysitter, I guess. Although he's invincible. If anything, he's our babysitter. Although he does make Sonic 2 way hard. Because his ability to attack Robotnik basically means you'll fall through the floor if you are. Okay, so it's 2 minutes flat for this too. So there's actually tons of time. Alright, let's go. I don't know where Tails actually is. I'm hoping he will show up. There he is. Alright. Catch a free ride with this guy. Actually, crap. I should have stuck with the plan. Fortunately, he's got a big magnet on him. So we're good. No problem. No problem. Okay, 1. Thanks, Tails. Your magnetism helped. The lack of momentum in this is a little jarring when it comes to the speed of these platforms. You know, for what is effectively just a menu, for lack of a better term, because that's what this is. This effectively just replaces having a menu to show you some bonus features from Sonic production over the years. You know, I think this is pretty cool. But you know, that's the Terranigma / Fable 3 thing, where, you know, we removed menus and stuff. Although I think Fable 3, they made the game objectively worse for it. Because all they did was make the game take longer. But this is basically a game into itself. Alright, 100 rings, let's go. I don't know how many rings are actually in the environment. There might only be 100. Better just start collecting everything. Okay, there's 22, 27, 32. That's a third of the way there. Still have a long way to go, though. And we've already kind of covered the map. That's concerning. Ha! Spring! There's half. I know I missed one on that spring, and I'm really hoping I don't need every single one, or that'll come back to bite me. But it's entirely possible that's the case. Because we are running out of things to collect rings with. Because we still need, like, 20. Oh. Rings? Come on, I need 12 more. 10 more. Okay, spring. You're lucky I seem to need every single ring. Or else I'd ignore you entirely, you stupid ring. I think this bridge is actually low enough that you can jump straight on it. Shortcuts! Okay, I did try and jump that. The game would not let me. Okay, 7 more. I'm thinking. Gotta go this way for a couple. Because I don't know, and we only have 30 seconds left. Oh god! Where are the rest of the rings? I still need 5 more. Will I be able to do it? Find out next time on Sonic Ball Z. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Mainly because I don't know where the last 5 rings are. Oh crap, you know where they are and I hate it? They're over here, aren't they? That would just be so this game. And this day of my life. There's 2. Okay. Where are the other 3? I'm genuinely curious. Because we're missing something, clearly. Huh. There's only 97. The goal is 100. It's actually impossible now. No, you can do this, but I can't figure out where the last 3 are. It'd be nice if, you know, destroying those balloons got you some extra rings. Just because you kind of have to go a little bit out of your way to do it. But, I mean, this is the last goal. That's the point, is, you know, it's supposed to make you cover the entire ground. Okay, that sucks. Putting them right by the exit behind where you start. Okay, yeah, that's kind of crap. Okay, let's go. I got this. Just don't exit the place. Okay. Okay. We got this. No problem. No problem. We got this. Grab all these. There's 20. Now I just need the other 80. And we're just wasting time. Because we're not at all on a timetable here. Alright, cool. We got this. I mean, that is the advantage of being able to do this theoretically unlimited times is, you know, if you screw up, it's not that punishing. I think there's some on this bridge we need to collect. There we go. 67. Oh, I didn't want to miss that cycle. Now I gotta sit around and wait more. Don't want to do that. Okay, 74. Is there any more around here we missed? Not really. Gotta grab these. 86. One's on that awkward spring, and there's 2 more over the water over here. And I think the rest on the other spring, which is over this way. Boom. And we have almost 45 seconds left to spare. There it is. And we unlocked a big fancy ring. There we go. We unlocked a big fancy ring. And I believe that big fancy ring is just a way to get back to the menu. It's an alternate exit, basically, from this. It's kind of sad that there's not really all that much to this at the same time. This is the character house. You can go in two ways to see the heroes and the villains. But you can see the badniks, which is kind of cool. Like old school, just production art. I love this kind of thing. Robots. Uni Uni. This is cool. Caterkiller, that's a classic. Sonic and Knuckles. These were, I believe, scanned directly into the manual. Of course, they were in black and white, if I recall. But I remember these exact pictures from the manual of Sonic and Knuckles. Techno Squeak, it's a computer mouse. Sandworm, it's like a caterpillar, except it jumps out of sand. I never saw those as a kid because I could only ever get to Flying Battery, and then I kind of died a whole lot. Because if I played as Sonic, the first jump over the bottomless pits underneath the Flying Battery, I died every time. Knuckles I could get a little further, but I couldn't really get much further than just Flying Battery because I was so bad at Sonic and Knuckles. Let's take a look at the hero characters. You know, the guys we all care about. We got Sonic. He can't swim. Also, he drowns a whole bunch. Sonic's 16, apparently. That's how you know he's cool. He's still a teenager, so when you're a kid, he's older than you. Therefore, he attracts you because he's awesome and edgy, and he's like your older brother, and you want to be just like him. You got Miles. He's 8. Huh, I didn't realize Tails was 8. He likes mint candy. Interesting. Learning more and more about Tails, I guess. But, you know, this is just a nice little thing. And yeah, sure, it's basically just a very long, convoluted way to get to these bonuses, but still, it's cool. Ah, Knuckles is shy. Also, he's kind of gullible. Also, he's my boy. I love Knuckles. He's my go-to character in pretty much every Sonic game ever. You know, when I was a kid, I really liked Sonic the Hedgehog. But, you know, what really made Knuckles my guy, and it's such an embarrassing story, but I'll tell it, was I was, like, the biggest Sonic fanboy ever as a kid because I had all his games. And, you know, one day I had this dream where I was, like, somehow transported to this world, and I had to go on an adventure to defeat Dr. Robotnik, and I tried to team up with Sonic, and he was like the biggest asshole ever. And then I ran into Knuckles, and he was just a really solid dude. And since that dumb little dream I had when I was a kid, Knuckles has always been my guy. Also, Sonic just kind of sucks. Like, Knuckles can't jump as high, but he can glide, he can basically tear down walls, he can punch things real good. He's got personality. Sonic's just kind of... You know, he can run fast, but I mean, all the other characters can. He can spin dash, all the other characters can. He can't fly like Tails. He can't glide like Knuckles. He can't wall climb, which I think is probably Knuckles' better high point. What do we have in here? We have history. Let's learn about the Hall of Famous Sonic. You know, I think Sonic is kind of like Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Country. He's like the worst character in his own series. I'm as old as Sonic the Hedgehog. Although I'm a few months older than him. You know, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I think the best original Sonic the Hedgehog song isn't even on the Genesis Sonic the Hedgehog. I think it's the bridge theme from the Game Gear Sonic the Hedgehog and the Master System one. That's just such a good, solid song. Also, this also might be an unpopular opinion, I'm not sure, but Dr. Robotnik's best theme is from Sonic 2. Or Sonic Adventure 2, because I Am the Eggman is a great song. And, look at that. Sonic shoots for the Pro Soccer League. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. There was a lot of Sonic crap. I mean, there still is. Hey, there's one of the few official things about Proto-Sonic, also known as Mighty the Armadillo. I read these Sonic Archie comics all the time when I was a kid, so I knew all about Mighty. He was probably unofficially my other boy behind Knuckles, because he was just so damn cool. And now he's back in Sonic Mania Plus. And you can have a team of him and Knuckles, and Knuckles. And that might be the greatest team ever of Mighty and Knuckles and Knuckles. Sonic Chaos. I remember that game being pretty good. That was like a sequel to, what was the other one? Sonic Triple Trouble, I think. Which was also a pretty good one from what I remember. Sonic Spinball I remember being not great. Oh yeah, that's the Macy's parade, or whatever. I'm not familiar with that because I'm Canadian. But I know of it vaguely. This isn't Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, it's Puyo Puyo, and I'm really awful at it. I don't like Puyo Puyo, though. I think it's designed really badly. That's not proper. It's designed fine. The problem is the AI in pretty much every Puyo game is just way too aggressive. So you never really get to learn how to properly play it. I think out of all the Genesis games, Sonic 3 and Knuckles was the best one. Sonic Drift was kind of okay. Sonic Game World on the Pico. I'm not super familiar with the Pico. More versions of Spinball. Tails the Music Maker on the Pico. Rock and or roll there, Tails. There's Sonic and Knuckles. That's a game I owned. Sonic Triple Trouble. That was the one with the Fang the Knack Weasel Sniper. Chaotix. That's a game I've always wanted to play because it had Mighty in it. And that's really it. You know, when I played Sonic Heroes and I learned Mighty was not the leader of the Chaotix in that game, I was crushed. Like, I was so bitter. It's like, you know, I get you need a flying guy, so you have to have Charmy. But, you know, you could have had Mighty as either the muscle or the speed character replacing SBO. You could have done either things, but I liked SBO in there because he at least gave the game slightly new mechanics for the Chaotix. I really dislike Heroes. But if you're going to play Heroes, play Chaotix, because they at least have fun levels. Because they're different. Tails Sky Patrol, fun story, is one of the worst things ever. Like, it is just ridiculously hard. It's a auto-scrolling, not quite shmup, but you have to, like, avoid things and interact with the environment, or you get crushed by the screen an awful lot. I have beaten that game once, and I aspire to never have to play it again. It was that unpleasant to play. Tails Adventure, on the other hand, is the greatest Game Gear game ever. I can't think of a better Game Gear game than Tails Adventure. That game is cool. Sonic Labyrinth. That game was weird. That was, Dr. Robotnik took away Sonic's speed shoes, which apparently he canonically invented, and replaced them with slowdown shoes. And he has to run around top-down mazes rather quickly, kind of like Sonic 3D Blast, but not as good. And also, all the power-ups in that game give seizures. As someone who is somewhat photosensitive, they give me massive headaches to play that game. Sonic wins place in film history because there was a video game included in the National Film and Television Archive by the British Film Institute. I did not know that. Also, there was 2 films made. I didn't realize there was 2 films. I knew there was one. In fact, the only reason I knew about the film, at least when I was a kid, was the fact that they actually have the trailer in this very disc. There's Sonic the Fighters. Fun story. I've been meaning to review that for quite a while. It's a weird, wonky thing, but it's a thing that exists and it's interesting. Sonic CD. I like that game a lot. That's one of the better Sonic games, I think. I think next to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it's probably the best 2D Sonic of the day. I mean, Sonic Mania kind of eclipses it, I think, but it's definitely up there. Sonic 3D Blast. I like this game. I might be the only human on Earth who does, but I like it a lot. But I still think that the Saturn version is the best version of it. And I'm going to do everything in my power to play this next week properly. I apologize for that. I feel bad. And also, I'm just sad because I wanted to play it. This is Sonic Blast. Fun story. This game is awful. They tried to make basically Sonic on the Game Gear, but trying to make it using like pre-rendered, almost Donkey Kong Country style graphics, and it was just slow and unpleasant, and the level design was awful. And then there was a Sonic and Knuckles collection on the PC, which included a screensaver. Rock and roll. Oh, I didn't mean to press that. I want to go back to the history. Tell me more. We're pretty close to getting current with Sonic Jam, though, so I'm not sure how much more actual history there is. But let's pop through. It's been forever since I've read. It's been forever since I've read any of this. I've actually quite forgotten a fair bit of it. I didn't realize there was a Sonic soccer team, although I guess, you know, in the middle of the fervor of when Sonic came out, I guess Sonic wanted to be branded with everything and everyone wanted to be related to him just because he was so damn cool. I don't know. I like Sonic. He was a part of my childhood, but I'm also willing to admit that while I was, at least at one point, the biggest Sonic fanboy ever, you know, that was before Knuckles was my boy, obviously, you know, his 3D adventures weren't that great. Sonic Adventure 2 stands as my favorite game in the series, but I can tell you pretty much everything between that and, like, Generations, and even Generations was kind of wonky, wasn't good. And, you know, Generations was fun, but I don't think it was true to its entire premise. The whole idea was, you know, half the game's going to be 3D, half the game's going to be 2D, but most of the 3D segments also operated in 2D. So, you know, I think it was betraying its own core premise. There we go, now we're current. Sonic the Hedgehog, the screensaver, is on sale. What? Okay. Interesting. I'll have to see about this magical screensaver that was released in Japan in '97. See what it's all about. Is it an interactive screensaver, or is it just a screensaver? Because I don't think I've ever heard of someone selling a screensaver before. But I'm also someone who doesn't use screensavers too often. What do we have in the gallery? Sonic and Friends. I think these are just... Oh yeah, these are just production art. You can find these kind of everywhere. Fun fact, I have a Genesis pirate cart that actually uses one of these production images. Let's see if we can find it. I'll be curious. Because it's Sonic Skiing, I believe. I have a Genesis cart with that. This is a background I have, or a background, a sticker on one of my Genesis pirate carts. But I think these were either production images, or they were released as like a bundle with like postcards or something for fans who signed up with a newsletter or something. I can't quite remember what these are specifically for, but I always thought these were really high quality images and they just looked really, really neat. And before Sonic Jam, I wasn't even aware of these things. Like, you know, Sonic Jam, you know, you could be reductive and just say this is basically a compilation, and I mean, yeah, it is, but pretty much all the games on this compilation are built from the ground up to actually be playable and completely unique. In fact, if I recall, I've never been able to recreate it, but there is actually a bug in, I think it was Sonic Jam. We could see if we can find it, just for the hell of it. Yeah, what the hell, why not? We'll see if we can do it. But I remember running into this one bug, and I think I've mentioned it a few times. But that's the end of Sonic World. A very cool little bonus feature-laden thing. And I don't think we're gonna get to skip this, unfortunately. Because this was before you could skip credit sequences. But we'll get to see some production art of Sonic for this collection, I guess. But because the game was because all the games were based or built from the ground up, as opposed to just being ports or emulation, they changed some stuff, and some stuff works a little differently. And there was this moment in chemical plants where the water or whatever, the sludge rises, and you have to kind of get out of that like vertical shaft. And I remember climbing that shaft as Knuckles, and at the top of it, yeah, you're supposed to jump to the left, and on the right, there's sort of a back wall to a loop-de-loop. I remember somehow clipping through that loop-de-loop and just skipping like an entire quarter of the stage. I don't know how that happened, and I think it was a bug with this particular version. I'd like to see if we could try and recreate it, just for the hell of it. Because, I mean, we're clearly not playing Sonic 3D Blast anymore. As sad as I am about that, I do wish we could play Sonic 3D Blast, but, you know. Hopefully next week I can get my satiator work properly. Although it could just be that, you know, the ROM I have dumped on it just doesn't like my equipment or something. I'm not sure. But hopefully I'll have it figured out. Because I really do want to play Sonic 3D Blast full proper if I can. That would be very, very cool for me, at least. Because I want to show off just how cool Sonic 3D Blast actually is. Because, like I said at the top, I think that game gets a lot of flack for reasons that it doesn't deserve. I think for all the shit Sonic gets thrown his way for all the wrong decisions in its development, you know, people have made. You know, all the werehog nonsense, the entirety of Sonic 06, you know, the many problems of Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog. You know, there's lots of problems with Sonic, I'm willing to admit it, but Sonic 3D Blast really isn't. Or at least the Saturn version isn't, and I will defend it forever, and I want to be able to show it off. So, hopefully next week I can do that, hopefully. But I'm gonna have to test my equipment out a bit more. Huh. So it just jumps you back in the water. Huh, I thought that would throw us back to the menu. Well, I guess we watched the credits for no good reason. Exit. There we go. Alright, game. Alright, so we can play Sonic, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3, Sonic 2. Now, curious, but is this going to launch straight into Sonic 2, or... It's cool you can check out the manual, timeout, that's not what I want though. Let's try something else. Because it's in Sonic 2, but it's Sonic 2 with Sonic and Knuckles. Also, we get a nice little like 3D emulation of Lock-On, which is kind of a neat idea. Game start. Normal, easy, original. I don't know what any of that actually means. That might actually matter too. So let's maybe just exit and hit original, because that might be something. Save game, even though you told me expressly I can't save, but that's because I haven't shut off the system yet. Okay. Let's try this again. I don't know what's so original about original mode. But I died instantly because I'm an absolute genius. Alright, so all we gotta do is get to level 2. Point B, if I recall. Now what's really cool about this, and you won't see it in Sonic 2 because obviously it's already implemented, but the original Sonic the Hedgehog, of course, didn't have the spin dash. For this compilation, they actually recreated the spin dash in it. And, you know, there's not a lot of point to it, but when I first saw that, it blew my goddamn mind. Like, oh my god, you can spin dash in this? This changes everything! Except it doesn't really. There's a lot of slowdown here. Maybe that's because I'm playing original mode. Not sure. I think they redid all the music for the Sonic Jam version as well. I think I heard that anyway. That sound effect is new, I'll tell you that much. There was a weird acceleration there. Because physics! How do physics work? Don't know. You know, I quite love the fact that Sonic and Knuckles could attach to, you know, Sonic 2, and you get effectively a whole new game, even though it was identical. He plays Knuckles, and he played really differently. Although that said, he made one boss really difficult because he jumps marginally less high than Sonic. And if it wasn't for that boss, I wouldn't even realize it. Because that's the only time it ever comes up, ever. It's just, yeah, this one boss that requires, like, the max height of Sonic's jump, Knuckles has trouble with it. But yeah, this is the best Robotnik theme ever. Also, I Am the Eggman. That's a great song, too. Okay. Just gotta see if I can recreate that weird bug I ran into out of curiosity, and also mostly just because I wanted to get something done tonight. Because evidently, 3D Blast ain't it. Kind of appreciate the extra punchy explosion sounds. So the slowdown's a little unfortunate. Alright, chemical plant. Onwards. See if I can recreate the one bug I remember when I was a kid. I've always wanted to know, like, why this happened. I wasn't sure if it was in this version. I wasn't sure if it was on a actual Sonic 2 cart. I just know it only happened to me once, and I could never replicate it. So today, we're on a quest to see if I can. Also, I know there's, like, a secret route through this that actually makes Chemical Plant 1 super fast. And I cannot for the life of me remember what it is. I don't play a lot of Sonic 2. I actually don't like Sonic 2 as much as anyone else does. I liked Sonic 3. I liked the first one well enough. But Sonic 2 I think is a little overblown, honestly. And that's not to say it's a bad game, I just don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. But I'm also the guy who thinks Sonic Adventure 2 is, like, the best game in the series, so, you know. Taste! What is it? I don't know, but mine is clearly different. Let's see what's up here. Can Knuckles break the stage? Yes, he can. I don't think that was actually supposed to be up there, but Knuckles made it work. I wonder how much of a shortcut that was. I'm betting not much of one. In fact, that might have actually been longer. Alright, let's see if I can recreate that weird glitch. We just gotta get to what I find to be the single most horrifying moment in this game. So when I was a kid, I panicked so much whenever this happened, and I would always drown and die. I think if you go left, around here somewhere, you can speed up the level a little bit. I can't remember where specifically, although I might be thinking of part 1. But you know, if I were to try and back up why I say that Sonic 2 isn't that good, at least compared to how much people like to talk about how good it is, I just have to talk about Mystic Cave. Because, of course, Mystic Cave has that one pit that you can fall into, and even if you're supersonic, you're stuck and you can't get out. And I think the fact that they made a completely, you know, trap pit that you can throw yourself into and get perfectly stuck and die, I think that's bad design right there. Or intentionally dickish design, and somewhere along the way there's not much of a difference between the two. Now this was the scariest thing when I was a kid. I hated this corridor so much. Part of why I really like playing as Knuckles is I can just climb up this because I had so much trouble with the platforming here. Okay, right here. Here's where things were weird. It was like right there. Like I don't know how I did it, but I found a way to just clip through that wall. And if anyone knows more about Sonic 2 than me, which would be most people, and someone wants to explain how to do that, I would love to know, because that's just sort of like one of life's great mysteries. How do you clip through that wall? I've done it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I wonder. Curiosity. Nah, I don't think that would work. Like, maybe you could use this block to kind of force you into the wall somehow without getting crushed. That's the only thing I can think. But yeah, I remember I was climbing this wall right here. And it was right about here. And I just lifted myself up, pulled myself through that wall somehow. Like it was just a standard platformer and the wall bit wasn't actually there. I don't know how I did that. And that'll be a question that will probably haunt my days forever. But if you know more about Sonic 2 than me, I would love to know how that works. Because I cannot figure it out. Also, that was interesting. But, okay, game. Do you not want to... Well, that's interesting. Maybe that's what... Hold on! I think we have something there. I'm guessing original mode prevents getting crushed? Maybe? Or this version's just weird like that. I think I might be onto something. I'm guessing what I did somehow was I got stuck in this thing and I ended up like forcing a zip. Okay, I figured it out. Sorta. That was interesting. All right, I'm glad that I did that. That was cool. Yeah. This boss, fun story, is an absolute nightmare if you have Knuckles on your team. Because he'll run into Sonic, or he'll run into Robotnik enough times that you will clip through the floor and die. And I'll just fly off and get murdered because I'm incompetent. I can accept that. I don't think that's exactly how I did it, but the fact that I managed to make that zip makes me happy. It's like, oh, I don't think that's quite how I did it. Because I remember just picking myself up, like, you know, Knuckles was just climbing over an actual ledge. Like he does. Like I'd like to show off, but I can't find one to do it with. But, you know, I feel like even if it was just that clip, even if that's not properly what I did, I feel like that's at least some vindication for a childhood memory I have. You know, I don't know, like, that. I remember him doing that, but it was through a wall, and I don't know how. But the fact that I made that clip at least tells me that I'm probably on the right track. And that, to me, is, I don't want to say a huge mystery solved, but it's a good chunk of work towards a lifelong mystery I've had. So, you know, we didn't get to play Sonic 3D Blast today, really. And I'm sad about that. Well, on the other hand, let's do that again, or try to. Okay, So climb, 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 climb. Okay. Now I think what I have to do is wait for it to kind of get up and... Yeah. Because I think it's trying to push against that block. It's like, oh, you'll be crushed, so let's just move you the other way. But, yeah, this boss... I think the Oil Ocean boss is kind of similar. Like, if you have Tails on your team, it'll get you killed. Because, you know, Tails will jump in, and it'll make him invulnerable, and as you jump in, you know, you'll just catch him at the tail end of his invulnerability and fall to your death. I'm just inept. That's my problem. But, you know, I think the point I'm trying to make is all the same kind of still there. I wonder if I can do that down here. Let's test that theory. Nope. Interesting. I'd like to know the logic of that, though. Like, why that specific area has, like, that weird clipping point. And the only thing I can think is maybe because it's... I think it's supposed to be a loop, so it's sort of like a weirdly transitional area. It's the only thing I can think. So there's, like, a weird sort of partial hitbox there. There we go. I'm not even sure that box needs to be there, but I'm just comfortable with it being there. Oh god. Like, yeah, if you don't have Tails, this is actually a really easy fight. You know, if you're playing Sonic, Knuckles, again, doesn't get quite the height he needs to just infinite chain this guy, but... You know, Tails will get on top and just start hitting him, and as Sonic do, you'll just fall through, and then you'll fall through the floor. Because instant death bosses, that's a sign of good game design. I don't think so personally, but, you know, someone must, because that happened. I'm very happy I managed to clip through that wall, though. I feel like that's not quite the solution to a problem and a mystery I've had since I was a kid. I don't think that's spring there normally, but, you know, the fact that I did that, that's definitely progress towards trying to accomplish something, I think. Alas, Knuckles' jump height. You're gonna drown, Knuckles! Get up there, Knux. There we go. See? He gets out of drowning. He doesn't even need to go through there. He can just get himself out of the drink anytime he wants. That's why Knuckles is the man. Oh! It's good. We're good. We're all good here. No problem. You know, actually, speaking of Knuckles, I know a lot of people really dislike Knuckles stages in, like, Sonic Adventure and stuff. I really like them. Also, question marks. I don't know what that's about, but there we go. Question marks! Why is this happening? We could continue. We could. But I don't think we will. But I did really enjoy those Knuckles levels in Sonic Adventure. You know, the 3D adventure and, you know, treasure hunting. As much as I don't care for hot and cold games, I think that's, pretty cool. And I think those require, or deserve a lot more respect than they get as well. Also, speaking of Knuckles fact, I didn't realize this until, like, this year, but, in Sonic 3, Knuckles' sprite is different depending on whether or not you're playing as him or he's an enemy. They actually changed his palette slightly. I believe he is lighter color if you're playing as him, but if he's an enemy, he's darker color. Which I think is kind of a neat little thing. Completely unnecessary, and I mean, I've been playing Sonic since, you know, I was born, really. But, you know, the fact that there's something kind of cool like that, that's neat to me. Anyway, that has been a night of basically failing to actually play Sonic 3D Blast because the satiator is not very happy with my Saturn right now. I'm gonna see if I can figure out why, and maybe next time we'll actually play Sonic 3D Blast. That'd be fun. I actually been wanting to do like a Sega Saturn Saturday type of thing for a while, and I just haven't had the time, and I mean, my streams have become really irregular because of life. So I apologize for that. Hopefully things will get a little bit more on track as stuff gets a little bit better in my life, but that seems to be a pretty far away notion for the moment, but we'll do what we can. Anyway, I appreciate you swinging by, checking this out, and helping me to discover at least a small fragment of the mystery of why I managed to clip through that one loop as a child. And, you know, I don't think this is how I did it, but I feel like we're close to the answer here. And maybe someone who actually knows a lot about Sonic 2 can figure it out for me. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, follow the stream to know we go live, because we try and stream as often as possible, usually 2 or 3 times a week, ideally, hopefully more, but again, life has been a little weird. I'm trying to nail down consistency again. Life's hard. You also want to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, see everything else I do, which is a lot of stuff. Should have a N64 Pirate Multicard video out tonight, if all goes well, as well as a new review in a day or two. I'm just, it was donated, giving the donor a first viewing, because that's just the thing I like to do out of respect. But that'll be up pretty quick, as well as other stuff when I get the time to put that up. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so I can continue to do what I do to the best of my ability, which in this case is fail to prove that Sonic 3D Blast is in fact actually good, because my equipment doesn't seem to want to play nice with me right now. But hopefully next time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, Internet.